So how do you invest in real estate with bad credit? Well, the first thing you could do is you could do the wholesaling that people talk about on YouTube and all of these social media. What is wholesaling? Wholesaling is basically a word that was like oversimplified to give you the concept of an option. What is an option? An option is a right, but not the obligation to buy something at today's price sometime in the future. I know, right? That's complicated. An option is an obligation, not it's a right, not an obligation. An option is a right, not an obligation, to buy something at today's price, but the transaction takes place in the future. And that's what's wholesaling. So it's an option. And an option, what it does is it allows you to enter into a contract with a home seller and say, hey, home seller, I like your house. Can I buy your house? But I need a little bit of time to come up with the money. I'll give you $1,000 as a deposit. If I don't buy your house, you get to keep my $1,000. But if I do come and buy your house, my $1,000 gets used as a down payment towards my purchase price. Can you give me 6 months to do this transaction with you? And then we agree on a price today. So an option is the right, not the obligation, to enter into a contract. Okay? How do you buy a house or invest in real estate with bad credit and no money? Right? Beautiful. So the way I would think of it is maybe starting out with what's called wholesaling, right? I think that that's one of the most common and easiest way to start real estate. What is wholesaling? Wholesaling is a simplified version of an option. What is an option? An option is the right, not the obligation, to buy something at today's price sometime in the future. That's what an option is. An option is the right, not the obligation, to buy something at today's price sometime in the future. So it would be simply me coming to the home seller and say, I like your house. Can I give you $1,000 today to buy your house 6 months from now at $100,000? I need time to come up with the finances to buy your house. If the seller says yes, if I don't come 6 months from now, the seller gets to keep my $1,000. My $1,000 became the cost of entering into that contract. Now, if I come back 6 months from now or before and I buy the house, my $1,000 goes towards my down payment. So that is what an option is. An option is a right to buy, but not an obligation. Now, how do people wholesale? Well, they take that option contract and then they assign it to someone else. And that's called an assignment of an option or an assignment of a contract. So if I enter into a contract with you to buy your house 6 months from now at $100,000 and I gave you $1,000 deposit, if I find buyer number 2 who's willing to pay $110,000 for that same property, he would just give me $11,000 and then he would give the homeowner $99,000. But that transaction has to close before the 6 months is expired. All right? And that's wholesaling. Wholesaling is just simply transferring the option that I've entered into to a third party who is going to execute on that contract. So in exchange for my $1,000 contract, I've made $10,000 because I sold a $100,000 property to someone for $110,000. So that's wholesaling. That's the first way to get into the real estate. And that's the first way legally to get into the real estate industry. Because I've seen TikToks and Instagram and people talking about, go to Facebook Market, find a tenant, and then call the real estate agent, and the real estate agent will give you money for that. No. In order for you to earn money in exchange for the services of real estate, unless you are in the contract itself, you have to be licensed to do that in every state that I'm aware of. So you cannot do that. That is illegal. All right? So that's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do, if you have bad credit and you have no income, you can partner up with someone that has the capital, and you find a deal, and together you guys can do a deal, and you would have to do a deal with what's called a hard money lender or an asset-based lender. And I think the most common deals that you can do for those would be fix and flips, because those loans are for 12 months or less, or 24 months or less, and it allows you to get in, do the rehab, sell it, get out with your profit, and close the transaction. And you can do that multiple times until you build your capital. Once you've built sufficient capital, then you can go on your own. The advantage of also doing this with a partner is that the entity that is lending the money is going to use the partner's credit or credibility, or the partner's history, track records, to qualify you for the loan. And once you've built enough, then you can do your own. So you can start doing real estate. Really, you can start doing real estate with no money and no credit. It does happen. Okay? But there are other ways that you can do it. You can also get into real estate by investing small amounts, like the stock market, dollar cost averaging, into a real estate investment trust or REITs. There's ways you can do that. The thing is, the sooner you start and the more consistent you are, the more profitable you are.